AI art can't be copywritten. Zoom employees go back to the office. And deep fakes are in political commercials.
It's news to me. Welcome back to It's News to Me, where the it is IT and the me is whoever it needs to be. I'm Noah Parker.
I'm Michael Trotter Lawson.
And I'm Tyler Rasnick.
You're right, Tyler.
I'm fine. Everything's fine. There's no problems here.
All right.
Okay.
Let's jump in.
All right.
What's the question of the day?
$10 million.
Deal.
Again.
Sold. I'll take it.
Oh, again, more money.
I put the snail in a jar.
There's a button. And every time you press the button, you get $10 million. Or the first time you press the button, you get $10 million.
So not every time I press
Not every time, sorry. The first time you press the button, you get $10 million. Every time you press it after that, you get half the amount you got the last time.
Mm-hmm.
So, still a lot of money for the first several presses. But also, every time you press the button, somebody you know dies.
That was me hitting the button.
Destroying the audio file.
So this is like just at random. There's no just somebody that,
Totally
that you're aware of.
Could be someone. No, it has to be someone that you know personally. Like
you know personally.
Right. It has to be someone that you have met before and you know, like, their name.
You have intimate knowledge, or just you know their name and you've met them? This is really
I
good.
met
This is
Dave
going to
Dirks
determine if
one
I even
time.
hit this button at all.
Right. Huh?
That's how I met Dave Dirks one time. Could
Yeah,
it be him?
celebrity. They die in threes, too, so, you know.
I would say it has to be someone where, like, if you saw them on the street, you would both recognize each other.
Oh, so it could be old coworkers, current coworkers. Maybe I'll hit that button. Because I only really care about, like, 3 people.
Right. But it could be one of those 3 people.
It could be one of those 3 people. Could it be me?
It
I care
cannot
about
be
me.
you. I would say personally, you are off the table.
Oh, well, that's good.
I'd put... Wait, so the first time is free? I can just push it?
No. The first time it's not free.
Oh.
So what if you have, like, life insurance policy on one of the people that dies? Do you get to draw that?
I mean, if they put you in their life insurance policy.
No, but how will they know? How will they die?
Let's say
attack.
heart attack. Just spontaneous.
So I could get
Spontaneous
the life
combustion.
insurance by hitting this button in addition to the 10 million.
I mean, if it was someone who had you in their life
I
insurance
think
policy.
I'd hit it at least once.
Yeah?
Just roll the dice, yeah.
Well, I mean, I could get pretty far with $10 million.
Yeah. That's pretty much like retire money, you know? You never have to work again, have to worry about much at all.
I don't think I could do it. I'm a very guilty person naturally. Just living my life. I don't do that many things, like, morally wrong, but I still have just
What about the snail?
so much anxiety and guilt.
Can the snail die from me pushing the button?
Because I know it now, personally.
We're friends. He
I would definitely
recognizes me,
recognize it.
and I recognize him.
Is that not... that doesn't count, I don't think. That was a different scenario.
It's a totally different scenario.
I kind of like the idea of these building on each other, though. It's like each week we get $10 million, but we've got to, navigate some
And then in like
obstacle.
2 years, the snail finally catches us and we all die.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Unless you hit the button and it happens to be one of the things that
Yeah,
ceases to exist.
true. I don't know. So you wouldn't push it at all?
I don't know. There's multiple people in my life that if that button killed them,
Oh, yeah.
$10 million is not going to be enough to
Yeah.
right that wrong.
I think there's about 4
my-
4 or 5 people in my life that I would be like, say it's not worth the $10 million. But I know a lot more than 4 or 5 people, so
too.
I'm willing to take my chances.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you do the math on this, for me it's probably 3 or 4 people. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, the more I think about it, I don't know if I would do it either, because there's probably more like 10 people that or maybe 15 that I really care about. And even if I know 150, like, that's still, a good chunk. So, no.
Yeah. I don't know. 'Cause
What if
even-
wait, I have an idea. What if I gather all these people in the same room? Let's say I know 100 people. Because I'm sure if I tried really hard, I could scrounge up 100 people who recognize me.
Yeah.
And that I
Right.
recognize. Okay, and I bring them all to a room, and I tell them, I'm going to push this button, and one of you are going to die. Or you can all give me $1,000.
Oh, wow.
That's just
ransom.
like
Yeah.
That's just like extortion.
Wait, what if you got all of the people that you care about in a room, hooked up to like an ECG? You said heart attack, right?
Yeah, just get a doctor in there.
Maybe I use my 10 million
This
that I
is
know.
not. This
Clear.
is not preventable.
Maybe
No,
it is.
no, it's not preventable. It'll happen. But then we stay in a life.
No. They're going to die. Greatest doctor in the world is not going to be able to save them.
I'm saying people
In this
have
scenario.
people have
I feel like
died
you can
and
think
then
your way
not
out
been
of
dead.
situations.
This is a mystical instant. This is like power word kill in D&D. They're not coming back.
It's relatable content.
Avada Kedavra or whatever.
Yeah.
The guy from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Avocado toast Stavros. Harry Potter.
Harry. Yeah, I'm not pushing the button. I can't do it. I'd feel guilty too. 10 million is not enough.
Yeah. That's the thing. Even if it were someone that I like actively dislike, which there's probably most of the people I know, I would.
You actively dislike
Actively
most of the
dislike.
people you know.
I'm a people you know.
I'm also a people you know.
I know a lot of people going beyond this office. You got to think, like, we know most of the people we went to high school with. Most of those people are in the bucket. I don't like any of those people.
This podcast. That's wild.
Out of everyone that I went to high school with, I like 10 of those people.
I mean, fair enough.
So
I'm one of those people.
I'm still not pressing the button because even those people that I don't like, I'm not. I would feel terrible if they died and I was responsible for that.
I feel
But yeah, but I mean, would you know?
I mean, you would know because in this scenario, you know that someone is going to die, even if you never
but-
hear about who it is.
Exactly. So how can you feel guilty if you don't know who it is? You couldn't have been
That's
that
true.
close to him.
But you would still know. I would still know that someone
you
had
could
died.
assume. You wouldn't know. Even, I mean, they could just be joshing you about the whole button killing people thing, just to make you feel bad for the rest of your life. But you wouldn't know until you
it
found
would work
out.
though. Even if they were just joshing with me, the josh works in this case.
Who's presenting the button to you? Is it like a mystical being? A
let's
guy in a
like-
hood?
Let's say like the Grim Reaper.
The Grim Reaper?
I was
comes?
thinking like
Alright.
King Dice from Cuphead.
Sure,
like-
it's King Dice
Okay.
from Cuphead, holding a scythe with a black robe.
On a Tuesday.
I feel like that makes it worse, too. Like seeing that visual, you'd be like, yeah, I'm not pressing this button.
Yeah, I mean, if it was like Bob Barker.
Yeah. Or like Shaquille O'Neal. He's like, oh, press this button. Nothing bad's going to happen.
I'd trust him. Or Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey.
I'd push the button if Steve Harvey told me to.
He'd be like, show me $10 million. And then someone dies. He points to the board and it shows a face of someone dying that you killed.
Survey says they did.
To be completely honest, I didn't come up with this. There's an old YouTube video that I saw.
Oh, this wasn't an original Michael creation?
No.
Wow.
But it's like a bit where it's this scenario, and the guy presses the button, and then instead of this being like this somber moment, he just keeps pressing the button over and over and over again. And the guy's like, you realize you're killing so many people, and it's. They're in like an office and people keep walking by. They just keep dying. It starts to become a thing where like he sees people walking up to him and he's like, hey, come over here, and he just keeps spamming the button until they die. But then it ends with, like, after several minutes of him pressing this button, like, I feel like we've really gotten to know each other here. And then he dies. Because of this one.
Wow.
That's true.
Cool.
I guess in our scenario, you do sort of, you get to know the guy with the button, so that's possible.
Yeah.
You have all the power in this scenario. I really think you picked 3 of the wrong people to ask this question to, because I think we all, I mean, I don't know, you feel like you're going to probably press the button.
I'd have to be there.
Yeah. 10 million, though, I think if it was like $1 billion...
I mean, if it was like, I don't know. I mean, 10 million is still...
That's still not enough for me to buy the Seattle Supersonics, so, I don't know, maybe 10 billion? That may not even be enough. I don't know.
Seattle Supersonics, not that expensive, are they?
I don't know. The expansion's rumored to be $4 billion buy-in for Seattle and Vegas when they expand. So
I could buy so many slushies at Sonic, though.
That's true.
Wait, what, the Supersonics are coming back?
That's a rumor. It's been a rumor for but when the NBA expands to 32 teams, it'll be Vegas and Seattle. And I want Seattle. That's what I want. I want to own it. That's my goal. So if I can press a button and someone's got to die for me to own Supersonics, maybe that would be a scenario I would entertain.
Could
so
you
if
get
you press the button and you're automatically just majority owner of the new Seattle...
The group, yeah.
Supersonics.
Yeah.
You're pressing the button?
I would, yeah.
Okay.
I would do that.
All right, well, I feel like that was productive. I gleaned a lot of insight here. So a judge recently ruled that AI art cannot be copywritten under basically any circumstances. Because really, I feel like, for anyone not familiar with the specific case where the ruling came down, I think this was probably the best case scenario for any form of AI art getting copywritten, because the guy actually made his own AI art image creation system.
Yeah.
He created the software that did it. It's not just someone who used DALL-E and is trying to copyright that creation. But the copyright claim still failed, and it failed on the basis of basically judge acting on the precedent that humans have to make art for it to be copywritten.
Which, I mean, I think that's good. I mean, you're seeing, like, I'm trying to remember there was a movie I watched recently that had AI, like, art in the movie. Don't remember what it was, so it must not have been that impressive. But I feel like you're going to see a lot more of that. Maybe it was a television show.
It was used in the intro to Secret Invasion.
That's what it was. Yes, it was that. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think there's use cases for it, but yeah, you shouldn't be able to, I guess, monetize it or make money in some way off of the copyright.
Well, I think, it's an important distinction that, AI-generated art can be, kind of like the basis for art that does hold up to copyright. Like you can, use like a bunch of... There has to be a level of human input. I suppose the certain level of human input is still kind of debatable, right? Because, I mean, obviously there's a bit of human input at the start with the prompt.
Yeah.
But clearly that is not enough.
So, I mean, I guess theoretically you could generate a prompt, get that prompt, and then use some kind of digital art or physical art and just use that as kind of like a basis for something that you make. Once it's created, then it's yours.
Right. I mean, it's the kind of thing where you have to change and adapt. It's basically a matter of you can use it to make the building blocks that you then create into a form of actually copyrightable art.
So if I generate a picture,
yeah,
and then I get out my Bob Ross paint kit that I don't own, not because I stole it, just because I don't have one. And I generate a picture, and then I put that picture up, and then I paint that picture. Can I then copyright my painted picture? Or do you copyright painted pictures?
Yeah, because you painted that.
I mean, I guess you could do the same thing with the Mona Lisa.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, that's your
I can
interpretation.
copyright my version of the Mona Lisa.
As long as it doesn't look identical to the Mona Lisa, I think you're good.
I gotta go. I'm just kidding.
Well, I guess it's like...
The thing is, the Mona Lisa isn't you're basically, like, trying to... A print of the Mona Lisa is not
Yeah.
special, you know? Like,
right, that's not where the value is.
I just wonder, like, in the future, what we will determine is the appropriate level of human interaction to
Yeah.
allow a piece to be copywritten.
I mean, that's... Yeah. I don't know, it's going to be interesting to see, because, I mean, AI is, here to stay. I mean, it's, it's already just become a huge kind of...
Well, it's like there's it's part of the zeitgeist now, and like everybody knows. I feel like even my grandmother, I've heard her talk about AI. Like she's heard about what it is, knows what it is, like sort of some of the basic use cases. And like there's like really impressive AI music now, which when it started it was kind of novelty and cool, but like there's like these Hank Williams covers, like senior covers that sound identical, and I'm like, how did they do this? Like the Frank Sinatra ones, I'm sure you guys have heard.
Yeah, I heard one song sung by Jar Jar Binks yesterday.
And like the cadence, everything is perfect.
Yeah,
I was like,
it's-
how did they tune this to make this so perfect? And that's
I-
going to be like weird.
I wonder if the lack of copyrightable content, the lack of copyrightable content,
Rittable.
whatever, will deter people from, pursuing more AI endeavors than it would have prior if they could have monetized it more.
I don't know. I mean, I guess to a point, but I also do think that it's for the best, because I don't...
yeah.
It's really easy to see a scenario where people try and, do a bunch of quick copyrights on, like, AI-generated books and,
Yeah.
paintings, and I don't know, it's just not...
You try to farm it, try to find something.
Yeah,
that-
and it takes away a lot from people who actually put in a lot of effort to do those things, like
Exactly.
artists and writers.
Exactly.
And most of the little you'd get from an AI generated thing is just going to be like garbage to read, but,
Yeah.
it's still a 300-page manuscript or whatever.
Right. I think the most important thing is just, these are tools, and I think only we can figure out the best way to use these tools without like losing all form of like
I think the
human
thing
expression.
I think the thing that people would help people kind of keep it under wraps is to just keep it AI as a supplemental tool
Mm-hmm.
and not try to replace everything, which is kind of the direction things have started going.
Yeah, I mean, companies are always going to try to, reduce
Yeah.
labor costs. And if you can use this in any way to get rid of, if you can keep it as a tool to make labor easier, productivity higher, I think that's one thing. But if
Yeah.
you eliminate, labor or whatever altogether, whether that be a painting, graphic design, people that write documents, things like that, that wouldn't be good for the economy or anything if that were to happen.
Right. I mean, we're already seeing, with the active like writer's strike going on.
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
Right. You got these new tools like ChatGPT that are, don't get me wrong, incredibly impressive, but there's a lot of things that they can't do well.
Yeah.
I think a lot of these studios are going to find that out the hard way, trying to, replace. These AI tools are not a replacement for actual human creativity.
Not
you know?
yet, but I think the fear is that, even we were talking about, I guess AI has really it's been a thing for years and years now, but really, the last 18 months, it's been sort of,
Exponential.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And
I mean,
like
yeah.
the audio part of that even, like just going on like AI generated songs from a year ago to now, like I can't, honestly, some of them I can't really tell the difference at all.
Yeah, it's
And that's just that side of it. So I know that when neural networks get larger and bigger and trained better, who knows like what the capabilities in 10 years could be.
I mean, it is definitely scary because I mean, it's one thing that I keep hearing online. It's kind of a phrase that keeps getting used. It is like right now, it is worse than it will ever be in the future.
Yeah.
It's only going to get better from here. So,
Man, I don't think I believed that statement in any scenario that anyone has ever told me it's just going to get better from here.
well, I mean, I guess that depends on your definition of better.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's going to get more human-like, probably.
You get faster, it's going to get cheaper. I mean, I don't know. It's terrifying.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how it all gets, if at all, it gets regulated.
At least part of
forward.
right now, because this kind of reminds me of like early internet before there was a lot of commercialization, and there was, I mean, even really before things like Reddit, when like memes, for example, were like an early thing, and they were just goofy, fun. Some of this is in that vein to me now, like with some of the AI, especially the music, especially the generated music and the videos.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's it's like an ad for like a clothing brand, and it's like the faces are like generated and zoomed in, and they do one for like Lord of the Rings, and it's like Gucci or Couture or something. And there's this music, and it's all AI generated, and it's all very funny. But like things like that, at least the spirit of it right now is very early. But in 10 years, yeah, like it's going to be, the barrier of entry may be lower, but you know, for the advanced stuff, it's going to be expensive, and then it's going to be commercialized in every way you can imagine. I mean, ChatGPT already has a premium tier, you know, that didn't exist 18 months ago.
Yeah.
So, and you know, it's a better model. So if you pay for it, you get, you know, better results. So yeah, as time goes on, I feel like this is going to be a little scarier than it is now, but it's fun for right now for me.
For now, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yes, kind of an appropriate lead-in to another topic, which is these political ads that are using deepfakes, which, you know, deepfakes is a whole nother kind of area of AI, which is, well, I don't know, it's terrifying for a whole nother reason.
Yeah.
Specifically in this case, we should say that the FEC, the Federal Election Commission, is basically all they're doing is looking into the possibility of regulating deepfakes. So nothing has been done. Nothing is set in stone. Nothing. Basically, they're just talking about the possibility of maybe setting something in stone. But you know, if we look at
This is me when I'm trying to like commit to plans. I'm like, yeah, I'll agree to the possibility of maybe looking into going to this thing with you.
right,
But no promises.
So, you know, we're in kind of the start of the primary race right now, and you know, we're just like a week removed from the first Republican primary debate. And already, you know, the RNC, Rob DeSantis, they're using AI and deepfakes in their political advertising. You know, I think the DeSantis campaign used like an AI Donald Trump to read out like statements by him in a political ad. And the RNC did a whole thing where they wanted to show what like 2025 would look like if Joe Biden got reelected, and you know, all apocalyptic and you know, hellscape and things like that. But obviously, those are not situations that are like, they're not trying to trick anybody per se.
Like Back to the Future 2.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I think there is a very real possibility as we get closer to the election proper that we will see maybe not official venues like the RNC or what's the Democratic version of that?
DNC?
It's just the DNC?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can remember.
That band that sings Cake by the Ocean.
Wait, I thought those were the Jonas Brothers.
No.
No, it's a DNCE, I think.
DNCE?
Yeah. I think
Like
it's-
dance without the A?
I think that's kind of the...
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Am I dumb?
You might, I don't know. I don't know who sings Cake by the Ocean.
I'm pretty sure it's the Jonas Brothers.
It's not the Jonas
I
Brothers.
bet you
though.
$20 it's not the Jonas Brothers.
You sure about that?
Yeah, I haven't looked it up yet. I'd bet my life on it. Yeah, I'll push the button.
Okay.
If
I
it's-
feel like it's the Jonas Brothers, but
no,
because
it's
I feel like
DNCE.
I saw a music video for this, and there's the Jonas Brothers.
They don't
I
be
think
in it,
one of
but-
the Jonas Brothers might be in DNCE.
Okay, so we're not both wrong. You were
Yeah,
definitely more
Joe,
right.
Joe
than me.
Jonas is the lead vocalist.
Okay, you're more right than I am, but I'm not completely wrong.
No, you said the Jonas Brothers.
I don't know.
There's only one.
They
So
look the same.
he is
You're
not.
showing me. They
Joe
look,
Jonas is not the brothers. He is.
well, the other
one.
two guys could be. I don't know. I
Cole
don't know what the
Whittle
Jonas
and
Brothers look like.
Jack Lawless.
I know that one. That's the one from Camp Rock, right?
That's your mortal enemy, Michael. Jack Lawless.
I feel like that's definitely, a Jonas brother. I'll just say a Jonas
Yeah,
brother.
it is a Jonas brother.
All right. The DNC.
Yeah, sorry.
Brought to you by the Jonas Brothers.
I don't think the DNC or the RNC or like the Biden campaign or even maybe even the Trump campaign are actually going to do like full-on deepfakes trying to pretend to be like the other candidate or things like that. But I think there's a good chance that like PACs and their supporters and things like that would definitely do things like that.
Yeah, and it's so easy now. I mean, compared to even just a year ago, it's so much easier to make a deep fake.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's so easy to spread it around with, not Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, like Facebook, and all these people.
Especially Facebook.
Yeah, especially
Facebook.
And all these people believe it, and then it just, creates a whole web of disinformation, and it's a little scary.
Well, it's like, what's the Oliver Anthony guy that everybody's talking about that sings? Like, apparently there was this thing that started that he was like, they asked me to play the Super Bowl national anthem, and I only will do it for free or something. And he was like, I never did that. Like, I don't know where that started, but people it went around Facebook, and it was like, it's a real American hero right there. Like, people just start things and they just spread. Especially if you have a deep fake or something, like if someone looks at a screen and sees Joe Biden or Donald Trump doing something, they're not gonna like second guess it. They didn't second guess this. They just saw a headline and it's like, he's playing the Super Bowl.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of news articles now, first of all, you have to have a subscription to read them. No one gets newspapers.
You see the headline.
But the thing is, people just read the headlines. I mean, I do it. I'm guilty of it. I usually don't believe every single thing I see, though.
Yeah.
But it's so easy to just read a headline and move on and remember that one thing and be like, oh, yeah. Like this morning, I saw an article for like this 8-Bit Bites diner that was moving into Johnson City, and someone I was friends with on Facebook with shared it. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And so I like actually read the article for once, and it was in like Johnson City, New York.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and even that's not intentional misinformation.
Oh,
That
yeah,
was just-
exactly.
That's
though.
just an honest
But
mistake.
you just see the headline and you're like, oh, okay.
I'm almost the opposite at this point. Like, if I read a headline, I look immediately, I'm like, well, what is the spin or what is, like, fake about this headline? And I just sometimes won't even read the article because I'm like, well, this is obviously fake.
Yeah.
And I won't even read it sometimes.
Well, that's the thing, there's so much kind of misleading content with, the modern news cycle. And it's just, I don't know, it's frustrating.
Yeah.
You see headlines from like, on the right you've got like Fox News who, are always have their own spin, and then you got like the Huffington Post on the left doing the same thing but in reverse. It's just frustrating. And I think deepfakes are just another layer on top of that, where it's just, video has always been the one thing where like if you see someone saying it, well, I mean, that's them.
Yeah.
But like now, it's not gonna be that way anymore. I mean, and I don't think there's a lot of Americans who are ready for that reality.
Yeah, and like a lot of the old campaign videos, like around this time of year, that would just be clips, sometimes out of context, quick clips of like politicians, like it would be like, and Donald Trump doesn't care about America, and it would like cut to him and be like, I don't care about Americans, and then it would like it would cut off, and he would have said, I don't care about Americans, they have the right to do whatever they want, but then you don't hear the rest of the clip.
Right.
And so that's like most of these like hilarious campaign ads were built on these like little clips anyway. So if you can just make them say whatever you want, you don't even need to like take clips out of context anymore.
Right. And I mean, I think it's important to note that with what the FEC is even looking into regulating here, again, just looking into the possibility of regulating here, they probably would not have the jurisdiction to go after, independent third parties, PACs, super PACs.
Yeah, stations that play these, like, I don't even know how you begin to regulate, like, as far as...
I think it's one of those things where, like, you're really not going to be able to until AI gets better to the point where it can tell what is AI and what isn't. And so it's going to be like a whole...
I mean, I guess unless you have some kind of, like, approval process for ads, you know, political ads.
Yeah, they're going to start turning into project files.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So that's going to get messy. Some job creation, perhaps.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, you know, in terms of actually, you know, limiting disinformation here, there should be some very serious change. I just don't think we're actually going to see that. Just looking in terms of what we've seen in, you know, political action in the past, I mean, it's very difficult for anyone to get anything passed in our government these days.
It's very different, but like this reminds me a lot of like stuff we deal with internally here as far as phishing goes. Because like there's things you can do to prevent phishing emails. You know, there's like security gateways. There are you know, impersonation services that you can sign up for that will detect that and try to stop that from happening. But at the end of the day, the best thing you can do is user training on our end. So I mean, I feel like there needs to be some kind of arm of the government or maybe even like a private that trains you how to detect some of this stuff. It is hard, but like some of it you have to, you know, use your brain. The problem is, like you said, with the AI deepfakes is traditionally when you see someone on video saying or doing something, that has been, you know, that's the physical proof that someone did something.
Yeah. I don't know. I think, you know, it is the kind of thing where as we see more and more of it, you know, people, I think it is a situation where, you know, people like the three of us are probably pretty decent at picking out those kind of AI-generated things and deepfakes and things like that. I think maybe it is just a matter of, like, the same way we do phishing training, it's, you know, kind of training the public to see the things that are wrong.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, just as time goes on, the technology will just get better and better, so it'll be harder and harder to...
Yeah, you need some kind of, I don't know, like, encryption or, you know, security on videos. Like you need some kind of like file level integrity or something that you can verify that something is, you know, I don't know who's going to develop that or how that's going to come about, but that's the only thing I can think of.
I do think it's worth noting that it is still very difficult to do like high quality deepfakes and things like that. I mean, you know, if you look at you know, something like, I was gonna bring up the latest Indiana Jones.
Okay.
Well, I haven't seen that yet.
I haven't either.
So don't spoil it.
I'm not gonna see it. You can spoil it.
I'm gonna see it.
Don't spoil it.
Are you gonna see it?
Well, eventually. I'm not gonna go see it in theaters.
Well, it's probably not even in theaters anymore.
Well, there you go.
It's on Amazon Prime or something. I saw it this morning on my Roku, which is weird because I assume it would be a Disney Plus thing, but
I highly recommend it. I thought it was great.
Really?
I thought it was a really good movie. I had a great time.
Michael also has a nostalgia for Indiana Jones that is unparalleled.
I don't know. I think it's pretty paralleled by like Star Wars, but you know.
I meant unparalleled to the people around you.
Maybe, but like I mean, I didn't like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Who did?
Right, but there's a lot of people who are saying that this is like the worst Indiana Jones movie and like a disgrace to the franchise and things like that. I think it's a fitting conclusion to the series.
What does this have to do with AI?
It starts in World War II with a young Indiana Jones.
But is it like a de-aged Harrison Ford?
It's a de-aged Harrison Ford.
Oh, okay.
And I think they did a fantastic job, and it looks really good. You can still tell that there's something kind of off there, and they didn't do a ton to his voice, so he still kind of sounds like...
Come here, I'm Harrison Ford. Get off my plane.
Are you Harrison Ford or Batman?
No, have you not heard Harrison Ford? He sounds like that. Get off my plane.
So,
but the point is, when you look at you know, studios that are doing like these modern deepfakes and de-aging technology and things like that, these are studios with millions and millions of dollars to throw at this process. Normal individuals don't have those kind of resources.
that deepfake Tom Cruise guy, his are pretty convincing, and he's just a normal guy.
Is that not the guy that Lucasfilm hired? Lucasfilm hired a guy that basically did Luke better than what they did, and they hired the dude. So I'm wondering if it might be the same guy that did the Indiana Jones, because he was just had a guy with a YouTube channel, and I was like, wow, these are amazing, because I think he did the one that had Harrison Ford and Han Solo, or the Solo movie, that was good.
I
was
really
impressed, but
I think
Were you impressed with him in this? It's the same guy, Indiana Jones.
yeah,
I
but
don't
it's
know.
not just him doing a deep fake.
It's just him. That's the only person that Lucasfilm has. It's this guy.
I think using deepfakes to like de-age an actor for a flashback in a movie is really cool. I'm all for that.
Well, yeah, I'm for that too, because
I don't like it when they just straight
I like
up.
when the actor is still involved in the process.
Yeah,
Because
I don't-
Harrison Ford was very much for that. He was very much pro.
He's like, makeup won't do it. You're gonna have to de-age me. Chewie, we're home.
Okay, I hear it now. I just hate it when they like, I don't know, the whole replacing, or like I don't know. I don't think dead actors should be in movies.
Well, you know,
anymore.
I
this
agree with
was
that.
this was a topic several weeks back, back when the writers first went on strike. They're talking about scanning extras,
Yeah.
and just owning the scans of the
Yeah, I
extras to
disagree
use
with
in the
that, too.
backgrounds for.
What, they were going to pay him like a super nothing amount.
They're going to pay
Yeah.
them. Well, they're going to pay them standard extra pay, which is not a lot, for the day
Yeah,
where they get
for the one
scanned.
time.
for the one day to where they can use them for the next eternity.
Right.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to see James Dean in movies in 2023, or
Yeah.
like I don't know, insert dead actor or actors. Like Marilyn Monroe doesn't need to be in movies
Well,
now.
here's the thing. I totally agree, but like you've got actors who are already looking into the possibility of selling their
Likeness.
appearance
Yeah.
and likeness now. And if they do that, I mean, like,
It's just going to happen.
I mean, yeah, of course it's going to happen. It's going to happen whether we like it to or not. But are you in favor of, you know?
It'll take something away. That will take something away for me. Like we jokingly argue about like Luke if he needs to be de-aged or not. But if Mark Hamill's involved, to me, then that's still.
Yeah.
But if he's not, and the same thing with Harrison Ford.
Well, like, if you look at the extent to where he was involved in the Book of Boba Fett, he was not Luke Skywalker in those scenes.
yeah, he was just the voice.
He was a consultant.
I think he did the voice. I thought. Did he not?
The voice was entirely AI generated.
Really?
Really.
But it was based on his voice.
I mean, it was based off
It sounded like
recordings
it
of
to
his
me.
voice.
Unless someone was doing a good impression. Luke Skywalker. That's my next impression is Luke. So I can become.
And for my next impression.
So I can become Luke Skywalker. I'm gonna
It's
show
not-
up deep faked.
It's not an impression of Luke Skywalker. It is a AI recreation of a young Mark Hamill's voice. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't think I would get. I'm not a big movie person, anyways. But I would have no desire to go see a movie with an actor who's been dead for 5, 10, 2, 1 years, whatever.
Yeah, because you talk about the human element. The human, like acting, is a human thing, and like you go to see an actor perform. It's a performance. Like I feel like it would be
Right.
really hard to nail, even if. Because, like, even with Luke, at least there was a body double doing actions and acting. I don't know, with deepfake, I guess that you do still have
it
to
would
have...
still have that.
But I don't know to what extent. And at that point, it's not... The person doing the actions or the acting is not the person that the face, you know, so it's not going to match up. So it's not like you can... It's not like you can get Daniel Day-Lewis to, like, have his face on somebody else and get a Daniel Day-Lewis performance. That's not going to happen. So I wouldn't care either. The reason you see a movie with Daniel Day-Lewis is because his performances are wild and, you know, crazy. And
I think the biggest reason I fell off of a lot of movies in general, because I used to love going to the movies, I just got so sick of nothing new coming out and like everything was a remake or a reboot
or a sequel to a
sequel to a movie that's
superhero
been,
movie.
Yeah. 10 years from now, if all the movies are just the same actors who are popular now, like I don't care.
In perpetuity.
Yeah, like let me have new things. I want new shiny things, not old AI deepfake.
The year is 2080 and Chris Evans stars in whatever insert movie here.
Well, I think it's
Worst
important-
movie ever.
I think it's important that we have new artists. I mean, this goes back to the whole copywriting AI art thing. You need a human element behind these art forms.
The one instance of someone being replicated with AI that I would be okay with. And I say this because I read an article yesterday that David Attenborough is going to be presenting Planet Earth 3, and I'm really excited about that because he's old and I didn't think he was going to do another one. If they could keep his voice for future Planet Earth instances, I'd be okay with that.
I would agree with that.
Because I love him.
And like
he's got
maybe
a great
Morgan
voice.
Freeman too, his voice for things.
But only for like narration. I don't want to see Morgan Freeman in a movie.
I don't want to see him act.
I just want to hear him.
Well, those things ought to be preserved, you know.
Yeah. I just want to hear him do like a Tums commercial or something.
Yeah. Or like a Alka-Seltzer. Plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is. That was more British.
I mean, yeah, he's kind of there.
But, or like Michael Caine.
Oh, Michael Caine.
It's me, Michael Caine, in the Batsuit. Master Wayne.
Your father loved Tums.
You know, one not AI related topic, the Zoom CEO has announced that, it's a bit misleading to say that Zoom employees have to come back and work in the office. Zoom employees who live within 50 miles of a Zoom office have to come into the office for at least 2 days a week. But
the irony is still there.
The irony is definitely still there.
Well, because the articles, the CEO or whatever said that they couldn't get to know each other and have the best communication over Zoom.
Right. There's definitely some irony there, but I think it's obvious, right? I mean, talking to someone over a video screen is not the same as seeing them in person. I mean,
It's not the same, but like I've made multiple friends over just talking to them through technology.
Right. But I mean, people like our mutual friends from Canada. It was still really great when they got to come down and
That's true.
visit with them in person. You know, like that's.
Yeah, you can't recreate that because like we talk about it here. Like we can do a lot of things from Teams or Zoom or whatever, but as far as like I don't know, the human element, like you do miss some of that, like because it's easy just to turn your camera off, or even if you have your camera on, you're looking at something else. But when you're in the room with a person, with someone, there's body language that's different that you can read. Yeah. There's all kinds of different things that you can't get over Zoom.
Yeah, and people are making fun of Zoom for this and whatnot, but I don't think it's necessarily an indictment of, Zoom as a product. It was.
Well, I think people are trying to make it out like if it would be like if a company that made vegan food was like telling their employees you got to eat chicken twice a week or something, and that's not
because you can't get the nutrients from your vegan food.
Yeah, it's not the 1-to-1, but like that's what people are basically. That's the joke, but
right. But I mean, ultimately, Zoom is a business, and I mean, as far as maintaining employee relations within a business, it is going to be easier to get to know someone when you physically spend time with them. I mean, I'm all for
the less amount of human interaction.
I wasn't going to phrase it like that.
You said earlier the majority of people you actively hate, so.
No. I said I actively don't like. There's a difference.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
That means at most a neutral
disdain.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I kind of don't have a great opinion on this because during 2020 when everything was shut down, I worked at a fast food place.
Right.
And so I never really had the whole like Zoom experience except with school, and school was just a train wreck that year anyways.
Right, but that was more just that was the logistics of a bunch of teachers trying to figure out how to run remote classrooms that had never done it before.
Exactly.
Yeah, like here, we went home just like everybody else did, and as far as our work, all the work got done. Just as it would have.
Yeah.
There was no real productivity loss. In some cases, I actually found myself more productive some days. Mm-hmm. The difference is what you were talking about. You miss so much, and even days like where I'll have to work from home for whatever reason, still get work done, but I come back the next day and then I'll hear about things that happen. I'm like, wait, what? What are you
Yeah.
talking about? You miss these like small details, or these small little interactions, these like 5 to 15 second, talks that you'll have with people that, really can go a long way, X or Y. And then especially if you're interfacing with clients, that's the other part. Is if you can be in person, there's more. It opens itself up for more conversation than just a Teams. Because if you have a Teams or a Zoom call, it's pretty much you get to business is over, you're done. You don't really feel the need, or I don't know. It's not the same as being in person as far as just sort of talking.
Especially in a situation like this where, like, obviously over the course of COVID, well, I shouldn't say obviously, I wasn't here. No one got hired here while the office was
Don't believe so.
remote, right?
That seemed like a 8-month period that was like 4 years though. So I really don't know.
But the thing is, if in this case for Zoom, I would say the company exploded over the course of COVID.
Yeah.
You have all these.
God, are they okay?
You got all these new people who have literally never met each other in person.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's got to be hard. I mean, it's one thing, if you're working somewhere and then you go remote, like.
Right.
Yeah, you know
You
people.
know the people. It is very difficult to get to know somebody if you only ever see them on, like
A chat or a Zoom.
Well, especially in a professional environment.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's the thing. Like if you worked remote 100%, you're not going to have the same relationship with your coworkers that you would if you share an office space with them.
Right.
And that's the same no matter what. Like you were talking about your friends. Like you had a relationship but it's different than if they lived down the street and saw each other every day.
That's
It's just
true.
a different thing.
Yeah. And I mean, those relationships are not necessarily bad.
No, they're just different.
But, yeah.
And for business, I feel like that's not always. It sometimes it's sufficient, but it's not as good as it could be, especially when it comes to making relationships, which is like the one thing that we really try to stand behind here is we like to create relationships with our clients and with our team. So
And we're also we're a small company, relatively speaking. I would say it'd be a lot more normal if we were a much, much larger company to have people that, were completely remote, that no one really knew, which I think is kind of the case with a company the size of Zoom at this point. I don't know, people have different relationships with their job and things like that, but I don't know. I think I understand the move made by Zoom. It is certainly funny.
yeah, it's a funny headline.
It being Zoom, but
I mean, the other thing is, it's like they're coming back for 2 days a week. It's not like they're like, you've got to come back to the office 8 to 5 every day. Like,
right.
I mean, I'm sure that most of those employees are not within 50 miles of an office anyway. And
Probably
the ones that
sucks
are,
if you're at like the 49-mile mark and you're like, dang it, that's so far.
I got to move a block down the street. But I mean, I feel like the ones that are, I mean, I'm sure the flexibility, that's the thing about their product. And I guess if they ever wanted to spin this, is that being able to work remotely, just the flexibility that it gives you.
Yeah.
Even if it's just 2 days a week, that's really not much.
Yeah. I mean, I think, one of the, only really good things that came out of COVID was kind of the real birth and growth of this kind of hybrid work model that we're kind of in today. I think
I'm glad this happened after we were like all done with like high school and elementary school, middle school.
It does definitely suck for the kids who have to like on
Snow
snow
days.
days.
Oh,
they
yeah.
have to go like they have to
Yeah.
have a remote stay.
Oh, Lord, yeah. I never had to deal with that.
Yeah, no, I did in college, but that was a bit different because classes never got canceled anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's a double-edged sword even with work, though, because, like, even, like, 4 or 5 years ago, like, if someone was sick, but they weren't sick enough to where they, were in bed, but they were sick, so they shouldn't come to the office, they were just off work.
Yeah.
But now they
You
have the
can just work from
capabilities,
home.
which is fine. But, like, some of those days, like, it would be nice just to sit and rest, but... And we certainly don't do that here, but, like, I know I've heard of friends that, like, well, I can't take a sick day, but I can do a remote day.
Yeah.
I'm still sick, but I'm still working. So it's a double-edged sword for that.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think that's still arguably it's still fine as long as, the company isn't also cutting down everyone's sick days
Right.
and doing things like that.
Yeah.
Like if you still have the same amount of sick days and you can just save one by sucking
Right.
up and doing like a remote day, I would say that's probably
Yeah.
better than the alternative.
Well, I mean, personally, I would rather work just because the work's going to be there whether you
Yeah.
are there or not. So I mean, if you're able, it is an
Right.
advantage.
It is definitely nice to have that option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're, I guess, blessed to be in the role or the industry that we're in, because some people that work, retail or like a factory setting
Yeah.
or something like that, they don't have that,
I mean,
flexibility.
working
So-
fast food during 2020 was awful because it was hot in there. We had to wear masks and gloves for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was miserable. Made like $2 extra an hour, but
Yeah. Was the hazard pay?
yeah.
Yeah, that was not enough, probably.
It was hero pay.
Oh
Hero-
yeah, they called it
hero
hero pay.
Heroes.
That's right. Yeah.
I do remember the heroes work here thing where like anybody that was like, we were like, yeah, we're gonna be back here. You guys are gonna have to do this, but you're heroes, okay?
Yeah.
You guys are heroes, and you're saving
it
the
up.
world right now. Just keep doing what you're doing, but we're gonna like just sort of stay back
Yeah.
and see what happens.
Yeah. It was really great towards like not the end of the pandemic, but the latter part of the pandemic where we still had all the masks and whatnot, but the hero pay just kind of went away.
Yeah, you weren't
Yeah.
heroes anymore.
You're like, okay, thanks.
You guys are normal again. You either die a hero. Was it you either
Die a hero or
live long enough to see your
become
hazard
the
pay leave?
See, I didn't do that. I just left before the hazard pay left,
villain.
and then went and got a crappy job somewhere else for a year.
But now you're here.
Yeah.
And
$10 million richer.
So, how about if you could take a quarter of the money and you get to pick the person?
Easily.
I mean, yeah, that's an easy question, right?
That is easy. Yeah.
Well, I know. Is it easy for you? Because you said you wouldn't do it even if it was someone you didn't know because you'd feel too guilty.
Well, but now it is no longer just someone that I know. This is an opportunity.
For someone you actively hate.
Right.
And there's a few.
I know who I'd pick.
Who would you pick?
I am not gonna say.
I can't say on the
It's not
podcast.
anyone. It's not anyone.
It's
here.
not anyone that you would know, but I can't say just in case. Not good. Maybe when this is off, I'll tell you who it is.
Yeah, I'll tell you who it is once this is off.
You edit this. Thank you for listening to It's News to Me. If you enjoyed this content and would like to see or hear more like it, check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/@BurkIT or go to our website at burkitc.com. Our theme music is Big City Lights by Up in the Air. Be sure to come back in 2 weeks to hear more from me, Noah, and Tyler. And in the meantime, keep your data secure and your mind sharp. All right. New episode, new hypothetical question for you two. $10 million.
We start off on such a somber, like you're so somber. Get hype. We got to do the intro too. Welcome to It's News. You know the whole thing.
Oh,
we do?
yeah.
Ooh, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of News. It's News to Me.
You did this last time.
Did I do it last time?
You just no. I meant you said it like
Off
that.
camera? Yeah.
Wrong.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's because it's a bad title.
It's just funny.